2026 Season 1 is changing League of Legends as we know it. Top laners will now be able to hit level 20. ADCs running around with 7 items, brand new items shaking up every build, and a few classics even making a comeback. Otacon is removed, feats of strength are gone, and there's even massive changes to minions and towers. There's a lot to cover, so let's break it all down and the impact it's going to have on you for the new season. And whether you're looking to reach your end of season goals this season or get the best start possible for next, you need SkillCapped. We do the hard work for you, finding the strongest S-tier picks, builds, and strategies before anyone else and teaching you exactly how to use them through our in-depth commentary page. Then, to make you a complete player, you get access to our full fundamentals library, built by elite coaches like Rogue and Chippies, who teach you the specific skills you need to climb in your rank. And once you've built those fundamentals, you'll see how it all comes together in our Bronze to Diamond series, where you can watch real players just like you use those same lessons to rank up fast, step by step, game by game, giving you the complete blueprint you need to climb this season. And we're so confident in that, we back it all up by a rank up guarantee. Climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped or get your money back, no questions asked. So, what are you waiting for? Achieve the rank of your dreams and gain a special one-time discount code by using the link in the description below. Starting off with arguably the biggest change, and that's the introduction of role quests. Top, mid, and bot will now get their own role-specific quests that grant unique power spikes or rewards, similar to the jungle pet and support item quests that are currently in the game, which are also getting reworked slightly. As one of the biggest complaints players have had for the past few seasons is that top and ADC tend to just have a lot less agency than other roles, and Riot has stated that these quests are primarily being introduced to fix this, helping both roles feel a lot stronger. At the start of the game, depending on your role, you will be assigned a quest. Top, mid, and ADCs will gain progress from killing towers, minions, or champions, doubled when in their assigned lane. You'll also generate passive progress automatically as the game goes on, typically completing around the 12 to 15 minute mark depending on how well you're doing. As for rewards, top laners, once they've completed the quest, will now gain a free teleport just with a much longer cooldown, which they will gain access to in addition to the 2 summoners they already selected. If they already took teleport as one of those though, it will instead get empowered and provide a large shield, scaling off max health when you arrive at your location. We're predicting this change will more than likely just see most non-tank top laners opting to take either Ghost, Ignite, or even Exhaust in some cases, as especially with the Homeguard changes we'll be covering shortly, teleport should hopefully feel like more of an option rather than just being mandatory on practically every solo laner. In addition to the free teleport, top laners will also receive a burst of experience and then 15% additional experience on top of that for the rest of the game, as well as the level cap exclusively for top laners being raised to 20 instead of the usual 18. Since each level is usually worth around 600 gold in raw stats, this change naturally gives top laners a consistent level advantage over every other role, which will just help them to stay ahead of the curve and remain either a strong frontline, split push, or damage threat depending on their pick, despite how the rest of the map is playing out. As for bot laners, after completing the quest, they'll gain a lump sum of 300 gold, plus increased gold for minions, champion kills, and assists for the rest of the game, which is currently 2 gold extra per minion, but like with any of these values in this video, it's of course subject to change. In short, this is all about enabling ADCs to hit their item spikes earlier in the game, as it's been a constant complaint from ADCs that it just takes way too long for them to have any real impact in a game, and Riot's finally addressing it. To go alongside this, bot laners are also getting a 7th item slot specifically for boots, so in the late game, you finally get to run 6 full items without having to sacrifice your boots in order to do so. Then, to help even more with scaling, a change not exclusive to ADCs, but will definitely help them the most, is that everyone's base crit damage is moving from 175% back up to 200%. All in all, faster spikes, better scaling, and a lot more impact and carry potential. ADC is definitely back. As for the mid lane, the role was already much more impactful compared to top and bot, so the quest rewards are not nearly as drastic, but they're still a nice bonus, as upon completing the quest, you will gain access to a free tier 3 boot upgrade, which are basically just the feat of strength boots we know from the current season, but repurposed. And in addition to this, mid laners will also gain an empowered recall, exactly like from Baron buff or killing Herald, just with a cooldown, which currently on the PBE is 5 minutes, but gets reduced for every kill and assist. And lastly, the quest reward also states some additional out-of-combat movement speed, which currently doesn't seem to be applied on PBE. Riot's whole goal with these quests is to reinforce each role's identity, and mid lane has always been about roaming and pressuring the entire map. With the added movement speed and the quicker recall, mids can get back on the map quicker, making aggressive roams way more incentivized than before. Jungle's quest is still tied to just clearing camps and will progress naturally as you kill them, the same way it does in the current season. Once completed, you will gain 40 extra movement speed while inside your jungle, which is definitely very nice. Then lastly, some extra gold and experience every time you kill a large monster. That said, as jungle has long been one of the most impactful roles in the game, Riot is looking to tone that down slightly, primarily by targeting the speed of the first few jungle clears. As now jungle pets will only increase your damage to jungle monsters by 10% down from 25. side, which will then be offset later in the game as smite upgrades to now deal 1000 up to 1.4k at max rank, up from 900 and 1.2k from the current patch. For support, again, the quest is tied to your support item, so progresses the same as it does in the current patch, either by executing minions for your ADC, hitting turrets, or dealing damage to champions. Although, in addition to just the item upgrading, you'll get a few more bonuses as well. First, there's a new item slot exclusively for control wards, which is great as it always sucked reaching late game and having to decide between an extra item or control wards. On top of that, control wards will also have their price reduced down from 75 gold to 40. Best of all though, support mains can finally look forward to actually buying some items, as completed support quest items now provide 9 gold per 10 seconds up from 5, which makes a substantial difference and should even make more carry-oriented supports a lot more viable. But role quests are just one piece of the massive overhaul coming next season. We're also getting a whole lineup of new items, and some of them are honestly looking wild. There's Snowbow, which increases your attack damage the farther away you are from your target, and even grants bonus attack range on takedown so you can clean up fights more easily. Bandle Pipes, essentially a tank support version of Ardent Censer. Mananomicon, an AP item with a passive inspired by the Overflow rune from Arena and ARAM, and on top of the new stuff, we're seeing the return of some classics like Hextech Gunblade and Stormrazor. Plus, several existing items are getting major revamps, like Essence Reaver finally getting its Sheen passive back. If you want a full breakdown of every new item and all the item changes, we've already covered them in a separate video. We'll leave a link to that in the description below. Now let's jump into some of the objective and map changes coming to the Rift. Starting off, as we mentioned in the intro, Otacon and Feats of Strength have been removed, and along with it, Blood Petals and Roses. With Grubs, Herald, Dragon, Otacon, and Baron, it felt like you were forced to permanently fight over objectives, and there was less room for individual agency. As a result of this change, Baron Nashor will also go back to its original 20-minute spawn timer. Epic monsters will also now be around 15% more durable and level up alongside champions rather than game time, with Dragons specifically becoming even more durable the more you have of them, as now the Ancient Grudge damage reduction will be increased to 15% per stack, up from 7%. This will cause objectives to take a little longer to kill, giving teams slightly more time to contest, or extra time to look to trade something in return. Void Grubs and Rift Herald will now also have slightly stronger effects, while the comeback experience of Dragons and Barons will be increased, giving losing teams who manage to secure an objective or even steal one even more comeback potential. But with the resistances of every objective being higher, junglers should have an even easier time outsmiting champion abilities. As for the map, there's the new addition of Fey Lights, these little predetermined locations in popular ward spots around the Rift. When a ward is placed on them, they'll grant bonus vision range and temporarily reveal part of the map, similarly to Scryer's Bloom, which, while we're talking about them, have also been buffed to spawn more frequently and in additional locations, primarily around and inside each base, and will help losing teams take back control of their jungle a little easier. And on the topic of vision, yellow trinkets have been buffed so they're more readily available. Undoubtedly, some of the biggest changes that are going to have a massive impact are the ones to minions and towers. First of all, minions will now begin spawning 30 seconds into the game. This means going AFK during the load screen is a thing of the past. Jungle minions and scuttle spawn has also been brought forward, with junglers' first buffs spawning at 55 seconds. Games will just get into the action much sooner, and there's far less time for any level 1 shenanigans. The big one though is that starting from the 14-minute mark, minions will now spawn every 25 seconds instead of 30. Then at 30 minutes, the frequency is increased to every 20 seconds. To offset for the additional gold and experience, cannon waves will have one fewer melee minion, while after the 30-minute mark, there will always be one less caster minion. On top of this, super minions will also spawn with every wave once an inhibitor has been taken. This is going to mean games are going to be considerably faster, as teams will be able to siege and take turrets a lot easier. We're also seeing big changes to turrets. Turret plates now last indefinitely and have been added to every turret on the Rift, and have been redesigned in order to spread out the overall gold from a turret across each plate. You'll also notice the first few are far easier to take. This makes it so that hitting turrets, even if you can't take the full thing, is still going to be worthwhile. On top of that, there's a new feature that builds up on towers over time that you can see by this gem-like effect around it. Essentially, this is Demolish but for everybody, making it so that aggressively pushing out side lanes and reaching a turret is always going to make it easy to take some plates and get rewarded. Demolish itself is also getting reworked, now having only a 30-second cooldown and causing your third attack to deal extra damage, scaling with bonus health. I know a certain Scion player who's very happy right about now. And lastly, Nexus towers, once killed, will now only spawn with 40% health, which is a good change, as previously it was practically pointless to take them unless you could end the game straight after. Another big piece to all of this is the update to Homeguards. Homeguards now keep their movement speed bonus all the way until you reach your outer turret, and after the laning phase ends, that speed boost has the potential of extending even further, all the way up to the farthest pushed minion in your lane. This means in lane phase, you'll be able to return to lane much faster, making bad base timings far less punishing, meaning you'll ultimately lose far less minions. It may not sound game-breaking at first, until you realize that this change makes getting back to lane over 10 seconds seconds faster than before. And as we mentioned earlier, this should make teleport feel far more like a choice rather than a requirement. Then in the mid to late game, this is not only a massive buff to split pushing and side laning, as you'll be able to get back to the wave much sooner, but it will also make grouping and sieging far more effective, as you can sync up or regroup with your team much easier. All in all, combined alongside the objective, minion, and turret changes, helping to shift the game away from just constant 5v5s around objectives and then waiting around for the next one to do the same, into a more fast-paced state where sieging turrets or focusing heavily around playing the side lanes is actually a viable strategy. Finally, there's a couple of system changes to ranked to address some of the biggest pain points. Autofill is getting way fairer next season, where now you'll mostly only face other autofilled players. And if you do get autofilled, you'll earn Aegis of Valor, which gives you either double LP or full LP protection as long as you get a C or higher. That said, if you play a role like jungle or support that rarely gets filled, you'll still gain the Aegis of Valor occasionally as a reward for playing the lesser represented roles. Dodging will no longer reset autofill anymore, and at higher elos, a dodge will count as a full loss, all to cut down on chain dodges. And Champ Select is also being sped up by about 30 seconds. Overall, you should notice faster queue times, less dodges, and more time playing League instead of being stuck staring at your client. And last but not least, for those of you who enjoy it, Swiftplay will be getting a massive overhaul to speed it up considerably. Players will now start at level 3. Grubs and Herald have been removed, Baron and Elder spawn much sooner, and minions gain a new frenzy buff. But whether you're trying to hit your end of season goal or get the best start for next season, you need SkillCapped. Our rank up guarantee is wild. It's like dating apps promising you'll meet your perfect match. That's how confident we are. We are that confident because we use the best players, rigorous testing, and top tier editing to make your improvement easy. So if you're ready to level up, head to SkillCapped.com and join the countless players hitting their dream rank risk-free and gain a one-time exclusive discount using the link in the description below. So there you have it, everything you can expect in Season 1 of 2026. Let us know what you think of these changes in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.